Today we are going to go over the Nicholas Meregali vs Vagner Rocha match at WNO 23. We're going to skip to about the 9-minute mark where we can get straight to the action. You'll notice during the standout that Meregali is really digging his right shoulder into Vagner, and that is because he wants to get his right arm across Vagner's body. First we start with the hand grip on his left hand side, and then notice how he's able to sneak his right arm under Vagner's right tricep, and that allows him to start the arm drag. You see that he swings Vagner's hand across his own body, and he's trying to get to the back. Vagner tries to put his right arm out to try to stop the back take from happening, but when he realizes that's not going to work, he puts himself in an inverted position, not only to hide his back to the mat, but also to potentially go for a leg entry from here. Meregali does a good job of shifting his weight backwards so his hips aren't completely on top of Vagner's, and this is going to help him defend against any leg locks from here. Vagner realizes this isn't a good position to keep going for the leg, so notice how he puts his right foot on Meregali's hips, and he uses that to push off to create space, and now he's able to regain his guard. Meregali immediately starts putting the pressure on him, and in a pretty interesting move, the first thing that he really focuses on is getting this reverse collar tie. The reverse collar tie prevents Vagner from being able to pull his head back, and if you're not able to pull your head back, you're not able to square up against your opponent again. And now his hips are on Vagner's shin. And this is a big deal because now Meregali is able to move freely with his hips. So he gets off his knees and onto his toes, and he starts circling to his left side. And it looks like a relatively easy pass from here. Now in this frame, Meregali is basically in a standing north-south position, but Vagner has all of the inside position from here. So in order for him to start settling in, he has to get rid of the legs, so he has both grips on Vagner's shins, pushes them down, and now he's able to settle in. Vagner is doing his best to not stay flat on the mat from here, and he's doing his best to try to turn into that single leg so he can start wrestling up. But notice how Meregali is grabbing onto Vagner's right leg from here, and the reason that he wants to keep Vagner's legs elevated is so that he can't belly down from here. Now I don't know exactly what Meregali was planning from here, but he does plant his right leg towards Vagner's legs, and from there Vagner is able to grab a quarter guard position from here, and it looks like that he might be in a deep half guard position, but it's not a true deep half guard because his head is on the outside. If you want a traditional deep half guard position, you usually want the head on the inside, and the traditional deep half guard is a really good position to start working some sweeps from there. But when your head is on the outside, there really isn't much you can do from here. At the same time, there isn't that many options for Meregali as well, so he just simply posts his right hand to the mat and then accepts top position from half guard from here. His primary focus is keeping his right hand posted on Vagner's left leg. It doesn't seem like much is happening with this simple post, but it's actually really important for him because he wants to have Vagner continue facing away from his body. If Vagner is pointed towards Meregali, he has many more defensive positions, including the knee shield, but because he's facing away from Meregali, now Meregali can set up his guard pass from here. He's able to put all of his weight on both of his arms. One is posted on Vagner's right shoulder and one is still posted on Vagner's left leg. That makes his lower body light, so he's able to back up a little bit, get on his toes, and then from here he performs a beautiful hip switch to remove the half guard position. In this frame here, notice how Meregali's right hand post on Vagner's left leg is still there, and that really limits Vagner's ability to turn into Meregali. So if Vagner can't face to his right side, he wants to avoid being put in side control, so naturally he starts going to his left side. But Meregali is already one step ahead of Vagner, and as he's starting to bring his hips down to settle into side control, notice how he traps Vagner's right arm by pinching his left arm and his left leg together. That completely stops Vagner's momentum to go to his left hand side. And now when Meregali starts settling down, he's able to easily get a crossface and settles into side control from here. From here, Vagner is doing a very typical side control defense. He has his right arm frame on Meregali's hips, and he has his left forearm frame on Meregali's neck from here. So now let's see how Meregali handles this situation. First, he puts a ton of pressure on the crossface, so Vagner is basically facing away from Meregali again at this point. And the reason why Meregali is able to put so much pressure onto this crossface is because he's driving with his right foot from here on the mat, and that allows him to put on constant pressure. You notice that because Meregali's hips are pretty low, Vagner isn't able to keep that frame with his right forearm on his hips, and so it's kind of just floating there on the side. Meregali is able to slip his hips back in, and now he's able to trap that right arm again. With a good head and arm grip, and with that left arm trapped, that gives Meregali the cue to start going for mount. Now, while he starts going for mount, it looks like there was a battle on the left-hand side that's hard to see, but it seems like Vagner was able to get out of the head and arm grip for a brief second and free left arm. So now Meregali is prioritizing that right arm hand fight with Vagner's left arm, and he wants to regain that underhook again. So he does manage to eventually get back under the elbow. He's able to push his entire body up toward Vagner's head, and so now he has a very strong head and arm grip again, plus he has Vagner's left elbow above his head, which is a very good position to be in. You can see with that left arm trap and elevated, there isn't really much that Vagner can do to defend on his left hand side, and so Meregali uses that instep with his left foot. He's able to pry his right foot out, and then he's able to comfortably get into mount from here. You can see that Meregali is inching his way up higher and higher and higher. And while that is a really good position to be in while you're in mount, to get as high as possible, you can start attacking arm bars from here. You can start attacking arm triangles. There's a lot of options that you have. You have less control on the hip area because you're not putting any pressure on there. So Vagner uses that opportunity to turn to his left hand side, and he is able to force his hips to go belly down. Now, it's not a really big deal for Meregali from here because he is able to maintain back control, and the way he's able to do that is he posts his right hand to the mat to make sure that he's not thrown over. And notice how he's able to switch his grip on his left hand side. So he starts going for a lat grip and also an underhook on his left hand side too. From here, he's able to bring Vagner back to the mat, and he gets double underhooks for pure control and transitions to a body triangle for more control again. Now we're going to skip the next few minutes of the match here, because it's basically 2.5 minutes of Vagner trying to escape back control and not being successful at it. But Meregali also isn't able to get the rear naked choke from here as well. While we fast forward the boring part, make sure to go check out today's sponsor of the video, X Martial. X Martial doesn't have your typical boring gear that you see on other sites. They have high quality, slick and stylish designs that are actually fun and bring out your playful side. To support my videos, make sure to click the link in the description below and use code JJB to get 15% off everything on the site. And now back to the breakdown. So when we're at the 5-minute mark, you notice that Meregali kind of abandons the rear naked choke by willingly putting himself into quarter guard position. And because he's going for this quarter Nelson position, it looks like he's trying to bring Vagner flat onto his back and enter back into mount position so he can finish from there. But Vagner is able to power through the half Nelson, and from the seatbelt grip that Meregali currently has, he's able to transition to 2-on-1 on Vagner's left arm, and he's able to suck in that arm so he collapses Vagner back to the mat. Now you'll notice that Meregali is trying to get his arm really deep into that armpit neck area, and he wants Vagner to be flat on his back so he can start going for the arm triangle. Vagner is very aware of this, and so he's doing everything that he can to stay on his side and avoid his shoulders hitting the mats from here. But again, Vagner is able to force himself belly down again, starts creating another scramble, and then Meregali is forced to follow him and take the back again. We're going to fast forward a little bit here so we can get back to the action. Now we basically see the same mirror position that we saw earlier, except on the other side. Meregali has a deep grip with his left arm under Vagner's left armpit and his neck, and possibly going for another arm triangle, but right now Vagner is just too aware of that submission and he's doing a really good job of staying on his side, so Meregali isn't able to get it. Meregali realizes this, abandons that arm triangle position, and again goes for the half Nelson to try to get Vagner onto his back. And unlike the position last time, Vagner isn't able to force his way back into belly down position, so instead he explodes to his left side and tries to recover his half guard. But Meregali has really good reaction time and he's able to slide his left knee up so it's past the knee shield from here. Meregali doesn't want his weight completely on top of Vagner from here, so he starts inching his way backwards. And when Vagner tries to recover his half guard, notice how Meregali brings his knee from the left hand side to the right hand side, and that creates kind of like a shield on his left hand side. And Vagner would love to have his knee in the hip area, but because Meregali closed it off, he continues to stay in a very good offensive position, and Vagner is still in a lot of trouble from here. Because Meregali is already past the knee shield from here, all he has to do is get a crossface, and then it's pretty easy for him to complete the knee slice from here. Now from here, it seems like Meregali is very confident in himself, and I say that because he doesn't really do the most technical mount from here. He kind of just jumps over Vagner's legs and hopes to get into mount, and Vagner is able to easily get him into quarter guard position, but it seems like Meregali really doesn't mind that. He's had a lot of success in this one match being able to get past the quarter guard, and with only 3 minutes left in the match, it gives him more options to keep attacking. And while he is able to get back into quarter guard for a brief second, Meregali is able to get the seatbelt again and start going towards the back once again. Now Meregali is using the back control not for really offensive purposes from here. He's more just controlling Vagner to make sure that he stays in a good position, and you can tell now he's not exactly prioritizing hooks from here. He is more focused on just being on top, creating more pressure on Vagner, and looking for openings. So again, we see that Vagner is completely on his side. Meregali is basically in mount position from here. And eventually we get to the point where Meregali is able to use his left hand post to pin Vagner's right arm to the mat. Now in this frame here, Vagner is in a dilemma. He would obviously like to use his left arm to keep inside position and try to get back into quarter mount to somehow retain his guard, but also now Meregali is using both arms to pin Vagner's right arm to the mat, and now he can start being offensive from here. Vagner realizes that he's in a threatening position, so he brings his left arm back and he tries to use it to break Meregali's right hand grip. But now that gives Meregali the ability to go under Vagner's left arm, and now it's extremely easy for him to transfer over to that Kimura grip. He's able to swing his right leg over Vagner's head, and then he leans back and starts going for the armbar. Now the armbar is a lot harder to defend in nogi just because you don't have a lot of sleeve grips to be able to grab onto, so he does initially start grabbing onto his own forearms from here. In order for Meregali to break that grip, he's using his left arm to pull Vagner's left arm, and then he's using his right hand to push away Vagner's right hand. Eventually he's able to break that grip, and as soon as that break grips, he scoops up Vagner's left wrist with his own right wrist area. That's going to give him maximum leverage to be able to pull Vagner's left arm, straighten it out, and then he's able to get the tap from there. As always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the breakdown, and I will see you in the next video.